The mysterious chest Jack moved quietly through the empty halls of the old spaceship. The lights were broken, so only his small flashlight showed the way. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. Dust covered everything. The air was cold and smelled like old machines and rust. Jack was a scavenger. He searched abandoned places for things he could sell. This spaceship, hidden on a forgotten planet, looked like it had been lost for many years. Jack did not know what he would find, but he always hoped for something special. Maybe a rare tool, a working robot, or even a piece of gold. Tonight, the wind outside made scary noises, like whispers in the dark. Jack's heart beat fast as he walked deeper into the ship. Suddenly, his flashlight showed something strange. At the end of a narrow hallway, it was a large chest, almost as tall as Jack himself. The chest looked very old. It was made of dark metal, covered with glowing alien symbols. Dust lay thick on its surface, but the symbols still glowed faintly, as if the chest was alive. Jack felt a chill. He had never seen a chest like this before. He touched the chest gently. It was cold and heavy. There was a strange lock in the middle shaped like an eye, with little lines moving slowly inside it. Jack pulled his lock-picking tools from his bag. He worked slowly and carefully, feeling the strange mechanism inside the lock. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a quiet click, the lock opened. Jack stepped back. The chest made a low, humming sound, and the lid slowly lifted on its own. Cold air poured out, and Jack saw fog swirling inside. He pointed his flashlight into the chest, expecting to see weapons or treasure. Instead, he gasped in shock. Inside the chest, curled up and shaking, was a small alien child. The child had blue skin, silver hair, and large golden eyes that stared at Jack with fear and hope. The child wore torn but beautiful clothes, with tiny jewels on the collar and cuffs. Around the child's neck hung a glowing pendant, shaped like a star. Jack stared, frozen. He had never seen an alien child before, and never one dressed like this. The child looked weak and tired, but her eyes were bright. She tried to speak, but only a soft, scared sound came from her mouth. Jack's mind raced. Why would anyone hide? A child in a chest like this. Who was she? Was she hurt? He reached into the chest carefully and spoke in a soft voice. "Hey, it's okay. I won't hurt you. Are you all right?" The child shrank back, clutching her pendant tightly. Her eyes filled with tears. Jack's heart ached. He took off his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You're safe now. I promise," he whispered. Just then, Jack heard a noise behind him. He turned quickly, shining his flashlight into the dark hallway. He saw nothing, but he felt like someone or something was watching. The old spaceship suddenly felt even colder. Jack knew he couldn't stay here. He had to get the child to safety. He lifted the child gently from the chest. She was light as a feather. As Jack carried her, the pendant glowed brighter, lighting the way. Jack felt strange, like the pendant was leading him, showing him where to go. He moved quickly, listening for any sound. As they left the room, the door behind them slowly closed on its own. Jack looked back and saw the chest's lid shut with a soft thud. He had a strange feeling that the chest was more than just a box. It was a secret, a warning, and maybe a trap. Jack hurried through the empty halls. The child shivered in his arms. He whispered comforting words, though he did not know if she understood. The ship creaked and groaned as if it was alive. Jack's nerves were on edge. He could hear his own heart beating. Finally, Jack reached the ship's exit. He stepped out into the stormy night, feeling the cold rain hit his face. The child looked up at him, her golden eyes wide and trusting. Jack promised himself he would protect her, no matter what. As they disappeared into the darkness, the ship behind them stood silent and empty. But deep inside, something else woke up, a quiet signal, sent out into space. warning others that the chest had been opened and the noble child was gone. Jack did not know it yet, but his life was about to change forever. The noble secret Jack ran through the storm, holding the alien child close to his chest. The rain fell harder, soaking them both. The night was dark and wild, lightning lighting up the sky for just a second at a time. Jack's mind was full of questions, but he knew he couldn't stop now. He needed a safe place to hide. Every shadow seemed to move. Every noise made his heart pound faster. He finally reached his old transport ship, hidden behind a wall of broken metal and scrap. Jack quickly climbed inside, closed the hatch, and locked it. He placed the child gently on his small bed, wrapped her in a dry blanket, and knelt beside her. The alien child shivered, but looked at Jack with her big golden eyes. She tried to speak, but her voice was weak and strange. Jack smiled kindly and showed her his empty hands. "You're safe here," he said softly, hoping she could understand. "I'm Jack. What's your name?" The child just stared at him, holding the glowing star-shaped pendant tightly in her small blue hand. Jack noticed the pendant seemed to pulse with a soft, gentle light. It almost looked alive. Jack went to a small cabinet and poured some water into a cup. He handed it to the child, who sipped carefully. For a moment, Jack watched her, wondering if she was scared of him. He thought about calling someone for help, but then he remembered the way she was hidden in the chest. Someone powerful must be searching for her. He couldn't trust anyone right now. Suddenly, Jack heard a loud beep from his ship's control panel. He rushed over and checked the screen. An alert flashed. Unauthorized movement detected on the old spaceship. He saw blurry shapes moving in the halls he had just left. Jack's heart skipped a beat. Someone was searching the wreck, maybe for him, maybe for the child. He turned off all outside lights and locked down the ship even tighter. The child watched him with worried eyes. Jack tried to keep calm for her. He whispered, "Don't worry. I won't let them find you." He sat next to her again, trying to show he meant no harm. The child finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. The words sounded musical, in a language Jack didn't understand. But then, she touched her pendant, and it glowed brighter. Slowly, her words turned into basic English. "My name is Lyra," she said, her voice trembling. Jack was surprised. "Lyra? That's a beautiful name." She nodded, then looked down sadly. "Family, gone. Alone." Jack's heart broke for her. He wanted to help, but he needed answers. "Lyra, why were you in that chest? Who put you there?" Lyra closed her eyes for a moment, holding her pendant tightly. "Bad people came, took my home, chest, only safe place. They want this." She lifted her pendant. "It's my family's key." Jack stared at the pendant. It was more than just jewelry. Maybe it could open something, or maybe it held a secret only her family knew. He remembered the noble clothes, the jewels, the royal look in her eyes. Lyra was no ordinary child. She was a noble, maybe even a princess. A loud noise made both of them jump. Outside, through the rain, Jack saw a light moving. Someone was searching the area, shining bright beams through the junkyard. Jack moved quickly, turning off all power inside his ship. He pulled Lyra into a hidden storage space, covering her with a tarp. Heavy footsteps echoed outside. Shadows passed by the small window. Jack stayed still, barely breathing. Lyra squeezed his hand, and for a moment, the pendant stopped glowing, as if hiding its light. After several tense minutes, the footsteps faded away. Jack peeked outside and saw the searchers moving on, talking in a strange language. He waited until it was safe, then let Lyra out of hiding. Jack knew this was only the beginning. Someone powerful was looking for Lyra, and now he was part of her secret. He sat her down and looked her in the eyes. "Lyra, I promise, I will protect you. But we need to find out who is after you, and why." Lyra nodded, her eyes shining with hope and fear. She handed Jack the pendant for a moment. As soon as he touched it, a strange image flashed in his mind, an old map, a palace, and a throne. Then, just as quickly, the vision faded. Jack realized the pendant was more than he could understand. "This is important, Lyra. We need to keep it safe." He handed it back to her. The rain finally stopped outside. The night was quiet, but Jack knew danger was still close. He started making plans. He would need food, water, and maybe a new ship. But most of all, he needed to keep Lyra hidden. As Jack watched Lyra fall asleep on his bed, he promised himself. Again, he would not let anyone take her. No matter who or what came for them, he would fight for her safety. Outside, in the darkness, someone was still watching. The hunt for the noble child had only just begun. The dangerous escape. The next morning, Jack awoke to the quiet sound of Lyra's soft breathing. For a moment, the world seemed calm, but he quickly remembered the danger outside. The night's rain had stopped, leaving muddy pools around the junkyard where his ship was hidden. Faint sunlight slipped through the cracks in the ship's walls, casting gentle light across Lyra's face. She looked so small, but Jack could see the traces of royalty in her features, her clothes, her pendant, and the way she held herself, even in sleep. Jack quietly moved to the control panel and checked his ship's sensors. On the screen, he saw movement nearby, 2 figures in black armor, carrying strange alien weapons. Jack's heart started pounding. They were searching each pile of junk, coming closer every minute. He went to Lyra and gently shook her awake. "Lyra, wake up. We have to leave now." Lyra opened her eyes, instantly alert. She saw the worry on Jack's face and nodded, clutching her glowing pendant. Jack packed a small bag with food and water, then helped Lyra put on a ragged old jacket to hide her bright clothes. He checked outside through a tiny window. The 2 figures were only a few meters away, their armor glinting in the weak sun. Suddenly, one of them stopped and spoke in a harsh metallic voice. "The human ship, he must be here." Jack's heart raced. He took Lyra's hand and led her quietly to the back hatch. They slipped outside, moving between piles of metal scraps. Jack kept low, always watching the soldiers' movements. Lyra walked silently beside him, her eyes wide but brave. Jack remembered a secret tunnel near the edge of the junkyard, hidden under a pile of broken engines. He and other scavengers sometimes used it to escape trouble. He hoped it would be safe today. As they moved closer, Jack heard shouts behind him. "There! The human! Stop!" Jack didn't look back. He pulled Lyra forward, pushing through old wires and broken metal. A blast from an alien weapon hit the ground near his feet, sending sparks flying. Lyra gasped but kept running. Jack dived under the pile of engines and found the hidden entrance. He opened it quickly and helped Lyra crawl. Inside, the tunnel was dark, cold, and smelled of oil and dirt. Jack closed the entrance behind them. Above, he could hear the footsteps and angry voices of the armored searchers. "We know you have her. Give us the child, and you will live." One voice shouted. Jack held Lyra close. "Don't listen," he whispered. "We're almost safe." The tunnel was long and narrow. Jack led the way, using a small flashlight to show the path. Lyra crawled behind him, her pendant softly glowing, lighting the darkness. They passed through twists and turns, hearing muffled voices above them, but the searchers could not find the hidden path. After a long crawl, they reached the end of the tunnel, which opened near the city's edge. Jack pushed away the cover and looked around. No one was there. He climbed out, then helped Lyra up. The city ahead was huge, full of tall buildings and strange alien vehicles. Jack knew it was risky, but it was their best chance to hide. He bought 2 train tickets using stolen credits, making sure to keep their faces hidden. As they waited on the crowded platform, Jack noticed Lyra looking at the pendant in her hands. "What does it do?" he asked quietly. Lyra looked at him, her eyes shining. It shows the way, only for my family. Jack nodded, still unsure what that meant, but he knew the pendant was special. He also knew the men searching for them would not stop easily. The train arrived, its doors opening with a hiss. Jack and Lyra boarded and found seats near the back. Jack pulled his hood low over his face. The city outside sped by as the train moved quickly, passing alien shops and strange lights. Jack watched every passenger, nervous someone might recognize them. Suddenly, the train slowed. A group of city guards entered, checking everyone's papers. Jack's heart nearly stopped. He had fake IDs, but would they work? The guards moved closer, their eyes cold and sharp. Jack squeezed Lyra's hand. Under the seat. When the guard reached them, he stared at Jack, then at Lyra. Jack handed over the fake papers, trying not to tremble. The guard looked at them for a long moment, then at Lyra's hidden pendant. For a moment, Jack thought the guard would arrest them, but then another officer called out from the other end of the train. "Found something." "Hurry," the guard threw Jack's papers back and ran toward the noise. Jack let out a shaky breath. Lyra smiled a little, but Jack could see the worry in her eyes. As the train moved on, Jack knew they needed help. They couldn't keep running forever. Somewhere in the city, he had an old friend, Mia, a skilled tech genius who might help them hide. Jack decided to go to her, hoping she would not turn them away. As the sun set over the city, Jack and Lyra left the train station and disappeared into the busy crowds. The searchers were still out there, but for now, they had escaped. But Jack knew this was only the beginning. The real danger was just ahead. All eyes and enemies, the city was loud and bright, full of strange voices and alien lights. Jack held Lyra's hand tightly as they walked through crowded streets, trying to blend in. Tall buildings shined with colorful signs in many languages. Different aliens walked by, some with glowing eyes, some with scales or fur, but most ignored Jack and Lyra, busy with their own lives. Jack led Lyra down narrow alleys and back roads, always checking to see if anyone was following them. He knew he could not trust the city guards or anyone in a uniform. He could feel the eyes of the hunters somewhere behind. Still searching, Lyra stayed close to Jack, her small blue hand holding his tightly. She looked at everything with wide eyes, so many new smells, new sounds, new people. But she did not complain or slow down, even when she grew tired. Finally, they reached a hidden door behind an old junk shop. Jack knocked in a special pattern. After a long pause, a small window slid open and a pair of bright green eyes looked out. "Jack, I thought you were dead," said a young woman's voice. The door opened and Mia pulled Jack inside quickly, locking the door behind him. Mia was short, with wild dark hair and clever fingers. Her workshop was filled with broken robots, blinking lights, and half-finished inventions. She looked Jack up and down, then spotted Lyra, who was half hidden behind Jack's coat. "Who's this?" Mia asked, raising an eyebrow. Jack didn't waste time. "We need help. She's special. And people are after us." Mia sighed, motioning for them to sit. "You always bring trouble, Jack. But fine, tell me everything." Jack explained quickly how he found Lyra in the chest. Glowing pendant, the strange armored soldiers, and the narrow escape. As he spoke, Mia listened closely, her fingers tapping on the table. When Jack finished, Mia looked at Lyra with new respect. Mia turned to Lyra. "May I see your pendant?" Lyra hesitated, but after Jack nodded, she took it off and handed it to Mia. As soon as Mia touched the pendant, lines of light flickered over its surface, forming strange alien codes. Mia's eyes widened. "Jack, do you know what this is?" "This is a royal signet, ancient alien tech. Only the most powerful families ever wore these, and it's broadcasting a signal. Anyone with the right scanner could find you." Jack's stomach dropped. "Can you block it?" "I can try." Mia pulled out her tools and got to work, moving fast. Lyra watched carefully, Worried. As Mia worked, Jack heard a soft beep from the shop's alarm system. He checked the monitor. A group of rough-looking aliens in black armor had stopped outside, scanning the area. Jack's heart pounded. He pulled Lyra close and ducked behind a large crate. Mia worked even faster, her hands a blur. "I'm almost done. Just keep them busy for one more minute." Suddenly, the front door crashed open. The armored aliens stormed in, weapons drawn. Jack stood between them and Lyra, fists clenched. The leader, a tall alien with red eyes, pointed his weapon at Jack. "Give us the child. No one will get hurt if you do as you're told," the leader said in a cold voice. Jack shook his head. "She's not yours. Leave us alone." The leader laughed. "You humans never learn. The girl is worth more than your life." Jack looked back at Lyra, who stood bravely behind him. He whispered, "Stay with Mia, no matter what." One of the aliens lunged at Jack. He dodged, grabbing a heavy metal rod from Mia's workbench. Jack swung at the alien, knocking him backward. Another alien fired a weapon. Blue light crackled through the air, burning a hole in the wall. Jack ducked, pulling the fight away from Lyra and Mia. Mia finished blocking the pendant signal and slipped it back to Lyra. "Go. There's a secret door in the back," she shouted. Lyra ran, clutching the pendant, as Mia followed. Jack fought hard, using every trick he knew, but the aliens were stronger and had better weapons. He took a hard punch to the side and fell to one knee, but he did not give up. Mia and Lyra reached the back door, but it was locked. Mia frantically entered the code as the sound of fighting grew louder. The door finally opened, and Lyra hurried through, Mia close behind. Jack saw them escaping and used the last of his strength to throw a heavy crate at the nearest alien, blocking the path. Then he ran after Mia and Lyra, slipping through the secret door just as another blast hit the wall behind him. They raced down a dark passage behind the shop, hearts pounding, breath ragged. When they finally stopped, Mia gasped, "We can't go back." "They'll never stop searching," Jack nodded. "We'll find somewhere safe, but now we know who our enemies are and who we can trust." Lyra looked up at Jack and Mia, her eyes shining with tears but also hope. "Thank you, both of you." Together, they slipped into the shadows, ready for whatever came next. But as the night settled over the city, more eyes began to watch, and new dangers grew closer. The truth revealed after hours of running, Jack, Mia, and Lyra found shelter in an old storage building far from the city's bright lights. The place smelled of dust and oil, but it was quiet and empty, at least for now. Jack pushed a heavy crate in front of the only door, just in case. Mia checked the windows, making sure they weren't followed. Lyra sat on a dusty blanket, holding her glowing pendant close to her heart. She looked tired, but there was something different in her eyes now, a calm, silent strength. Jack sat beside her and handed her a protein bar. She took a small bite, then looked at Jack and Mia. Mia broke the silence. "Lyra, we can't help you if we don't know the full truth. Who are those people chasing you? What's so special about your pendant?" Lyra stared at the floor for a long moment. Then she began to speak, her voice quiet but clear. "I am the last child of House Illyra. My family ruled many worlds, but bad people wanted our power. They attacked our home. My parents hid me in the chest with this pendant. They told me to wait for help." Her golden eyes filled with sadness. "I waited so long. I thought no one would ever come." Jack nodded, understanding the loneliness in her voice. "But why are they after you? What does the pendant do?" Lyra touched the glowing star-shaped jewel. "The pendant is a key. It holds codes and secrets, places, weapons, and treasures my family hid. Only I can use it. If the bad people get it, they can control everything. That's why they want me." Mia's eyes widened. "So you're not just a noble. You're the heir to a lost empire." Lyra nodded. But I'm also just a child. I'm scared. Jack put a gentle hand on her shoulder. You're not alone now. We'll help you. I promise. Suddenly, a quiet alarm beeped from Mia's scanner. She rushed to the window and peeked outside. We've got trouble. There's a hovercar nearby, no lights, moving slow. Could be more hunters. Jack's mind raced. They couldn't stay here. But running again was dangerous too. Lyra closed her eyes and gripped her pendant. Soft blue light filled the room, and strange alien writing appeared on the walls. Mia gasped as the symbols shifted and spun, forming a map. Jack stared. What is that? Lyra answered. It's a safe place. My family built it long ago. Only the pendant can show the way. If we get there, we'll be safe and maybe find help. Mia quickly took pictures of the map with her tablet. Jack, we need to move. The hunters could find us any minute. Jack agreed. He grabbed the bag with food and water. Mia packed her tools, and Lyra hid the pendant under her coat. Carefully, they slipped out a back window into the dark alley behind the building. As they hurried through the shadows, Jack kept glancing over his shoulder. The hovercar was following them now, moving without sound. He ducked into a narrow passage, pulling Lyra and Mia with him. Suddenly, bright lights flashed on. The hunters were there, blocking the way out. The leader stepped forward, weapon raised. Give us the child, or you all die. Jack stood in front of Lyra, fists clenched. You'll have to get through me first. The hunter laughed, his red eyes cold. Foolish human, she belongs to us. Before anyone could move, Lyra stepped forward, holding up her glowing pendant. The blue light grew brighter and brighter until it blinded everyone in the alley. The hunters fired their weapons, but the shots bounced harmlessly off a shimmering shield that formed around Lyra, Jack, and Mia. Mia gasped. What is that? Lyra's voice was calm, almost not her own. The pendant's last protection. It will not last long. We must run. The hunters tried to break through, but the shield pushed them back. Jack grabbed Lyra's hand, and Mia ran beside them. The blue shield moved with them as they escaped down the alley, turning left and right, following the glowing map on Lyra's pendant. Finally, the light from the pendant pointed to a hidden door in an old building. Jack pushed the door open, and they rushed inside. The shield faded just as the hunters arrived, pounding on the door. But inside, everything was silent and peaceful. They found themselves in a beautiful room, filled with alien technology and holograms of Lyra's family. For the first time, Lyra smiled. This was my home. My family's secret place. Jack and Mia looked around in wonder. You did it, Lyra. You're safe for now, Jack said. But Lyra knew the fight was not over. She looked at her friends, her heart full of hope and fear. Thank you for believing in me, Jack smiled. We're not leaving you. We'll stand with you no matter what. And as they caught their breath, the three of them prepared for the next challenge, ready to face whatever the future would bring. The final stand, the hidden room glowed with soft blue lights as Lyra, Jack, and Mia caught their breath. The walls showed moving images of Lyra's family, laughing and smiling in happier days. Ancient alien technology hummed quietly, filling the air with gentle energy. For a moment, it felt safe, but Jack knew their enemies would not give up so easily. Mia studied a large control panel on one side of the room. This place is amazing, Lyra. Do you know what any of this does? Lyra shook her head, looking nervous. My parents said this place would protect me, but I was too young to learn everything. Jack walked to a window, peeking through the shades. Outside, he could see shadows moving, more hunters gathering, surrounding the building. He counted. At least a dozen, their armor shining in the city lights. We're trapped, Jack said quietly. They'll try to break in soon. Mia checked her tool bag. We need a plan. If they get Lyra, it's over. There must be something in here that can help us. Lyra walked to a statue of her mother in the center of the room. She touched the pendant to the statue's hand. Suddenly, hidden panels slid open, revealing a control station and a rack of old but powerful-looking alien weapons. Mia's eyes lit up. "Jack, look at this." Jack quickly grabbed a shield and a strange-looking blaster, handing a smaller weapon to Mia. Lyra picked up a silver staff, feeling its energy. The control station showed a map of the building. Red dots moved closer, signaling the hunters' advance. Suddenly, a voice echoed through a speaker. "You are surrounded. Surrender the girl and no one else will be harmed." Jack shook his head. "They're bluffing. If they get in, we're finished." He looked at Lyra. "Can your pendant do anything else?" Lyra closed her eyes, focusing. Hard. The pendant glowed brighter and brighter, sending beams of blue light into the control panel. The walls started to shift, metal plates moving to block the doors and windows. The building shook as the hunters fired energy blasts from outside. But the shields held for now. Mia worked at the control panel. "I can boost the shields, but only for a little while. After that, we're on our own." Jack nodded, gripping his blaster. "We'll have to fight." The first group of hunters broke through the outer doors, their heavy boots echoing on the metal floor. Jack took a deep breath and fired a warning shot. The hunters ducked for cover, shouting commands. Mia set up a small turret near the door, its red eye blinking as it powered up. Lyra stayed near the control panel, the pendant glowing in her hands. The room's defenses responded to her touch. Energy barriers snapped up, blocking hallways and trapping some hunters. But more poured in, determined to reach the noble child. Jack and Mia fought side by side. Jack used the alien shield to block blasts, firing back with his new weapon. Mia's turret shot blue beams, forcing the hunters to retreat. The room shook with every hit, lights flickering and alarms blaring. A group of hunters broke through a side door. Jack shouted, "Lyra, stay back!" He rushed to block their way, swinging the shield to knock them down. Mia hacked a control panel, closing a heavy metal door behind Jack and giving him a moment to breathe. Lyra's voice rang out, strong and clear. "You can't have my family secrets. I will never give up." The leader of the hunters, the red-eyed alien, pushed forward. "You are only a child. You cannot stop us." Lyra lifted the pendant high. "I am not alone." The pendant's light exploded, sending a pulse through the building. Somewhere far away, a signal was sent, a call for help. The battle raged on. Jack took a blast to the arm, but kept fighting, refusing to leave Lyra's side. Mia used every trick she knew, overloading the defenses and forcing the hunters back step by step. Suddenly, a deep rumble shook the building. From above, the ceiling split open as a massive alien ship appeared in the sky. Blue beams of light shone down, and new figures dropped into the fight. Aliens, wearing the same royal symbols as Lyra's pendant. "They're here, Loyalists!" Mia shouted with relief. The Loyalist fighters quickly joined the battle, using advanced weapons to drive the hunters back. The leader of the hunters tried to escape, but Jack blocked his way, finally knocking him out with the shield. With the hunters defeated, the room was filled with quiet once again. The Loyalist commander bowed to Lyra. "Princess, we have come for you. Your family's people are ready to stand with you again." Lyra's eyes filled with tears of joy. She turned to Jack and Mia. "Thank you. You saved me. I could not have done this alone." Jack smiled through his pain. "You're not alone anymore, Lyra." As dawn broke over the city, Lyra stood with her new friends and her people, ready for the future. But deep inside, Jack knew this was not the end, just a new beginning for all of them. A new beginning. Morning sunlight crept through the broken roof, touching the faces of everyone in the secret room. The battle was over. The hunters were gone, and Lyra was safe at last, surrounded by Loyalists who bowed before her with respect. Their armor shimmered, showing the crest of Lyra's lost family. It felt almost like a dream, a lonely child hidden in a chest now. Standing tall among her people once more, Jack leaned against the wall, rubbing his bruised arm but smiling. He watched Lyra move through the room, meeting the Loyalist commander and the other soldiers. For the first time, she looked like a true princess, her small shoulders straight and her eyes shining with pride. Mia, still a little breathless from the long night, walked over to Jack and nudged him. "We did it. Against all odds, we really did it." Jack nodded, looking at the princess and then at Mia. "It wasn't just us. Lyra was the bravest of all." Lyra noticed them and came over, her face lit up with joy. "Jack, Mia, come. The commander wants to thank you." The Loyalist commander, a tall woman with silver skin and kind eyes, bowed deeply. "You have saved our princess, and with her, the hope of many worlds. As a token of our gratitude, you are both given safe passage and the title of Friends of the House of Illyra. No one in our worlds will turn you away." Jack was surprised but smiled and bowed in return. Mia grinned. "Does that come with a spaceship?" The commander laughed softly. "It does. We will give you the ship that brought us here. It is fast and safe, and you will need it if you ever wish to visit us again." Lyra turned to her friends, her eyes shining with emotion. "I will never forget you. You risked everything to save me. I hope you will visit my home once it is safe." Jack knelt down and took her hand. "You have a family again, Lyra, and you'll always have friends among humans." Suddenly, a soft beep came from the pendant. Lyra touched it, and a small hologram appeared, showing a map of the galaxy and a shining point, her family's true homeworld. The Loyalists cheered, and the commander announced, "The signal means our world is ready. It is time to return and reclaim what was lost." Preparations began at once. The Loyalists carried supplies and made sure Lyra was ready for the long trip. Jack and Mia helped, packing food and water for the journey. For a moment, Jack stood at the entrance and looked out at the city. The storm had passed, and sunlight washed away the shadows of the night. For the first time in a long time, he felt at peace. As the group boarded the Loyalist ship, Lyra waved to Jack and Mia. "I want you with me," she said quietly. "You're my friends, you're my family." Jack and Mia smiled at each other. They walked up the ramp, feeling both nervous and excited. Inside, the ship was full of strange technology and soft lights. The Loyalist commander showed Jack and Mia to their quarters, thanking them again for their bravery. The ship lifted off smoothly, leaving the broken city behind. Lyra stood at the window, watching the stars appear as they moved into space. She wore her pendant proudly, her blue skin glowing softly in the ship's lights. During the journey, Lyra showed Jack and Mia her family's ancient stories, holograms of kings and queens, great battles, and celebrations. She laughed with them, asking questions about Earth and human life. Mia even fixed one of the old robots on the ship, making it dance for Lyra. Days passed quickly. When the ship finally reached Lyra's homeworld, everyone gathered at the main window. The planet was green and beautiful, with blue oceans and tall white towers shining in the sunlight. The Loyalists cheered, and Lyra's eyes filled with tears of happiness. The ship landed softly in the palace gardens, where more Loyalists waited. Lyra stepped out first, holding her pendant high. The crowd knelt before her, and she spoke bravely. "I have returned with help from my friends. We will rebuild together." Jack and Mia watched with pride as Lyra led her people into the palace. The Loyalist commander turned to them. "You will always be welcome here. Our world is your world." Jack shook the commander's hand. "Thank you. Maybe one day we'll return. But for now, I think it's time for another adventure." Mia agreed. "Let's see what other secrets the stars are hiding." As Jack and Mia boarded their new ship, Lyra ran to hug them one last time. "You saved me, and you saved my people. I'll always remember you. Please come back to visit." Jack hugged her gently. "We promise." With a last wave, Jack and Mia flew off into the stars, their hearts full of hope and new dreams. Behind them, Lyra stood with her people, ready to begin a new chapter, no longer a lost child, but a princess and a leader. And somewhere in the galaxy, other stories waited, just as strange and wonderful as this one.